Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are up and going, live streaming some Mangara the Diplomat tonight. Ended up taking the free mulligan, kept a hand that looks like this. We've got 3 lands, Our Rev, Marshal's Anthem, some creatures, and an Austere Command. Looks like a bit of removal. That's kind of cool. We'll start with the tap land. Nothing to do on one, so play that and pass the turn. Bear with me just one moment while I send out this link for the live stream. Preordained for opponent. All right, I am back. Opponent has dropped a Field of the Dead. Gross. I hate that. Get rid of a Field of the Dead. Anything to do on 2? Nope. Well, looks like we're playing a Field of the Dead. Pass the turn. Thaumatic Compass for opponent coming in. Ooh, Howling Mine, yeah. Bring on the card draw. And opponent will get their first free draw with the Howling Mine. What's up to everybody in chat? We got King Ginger, we got Josh, we got Jared. What up, Banana? How you guys doing? Commanders. We got Morog Fury of Akum. Ew. That thing can kill you in a hurry. We got Xeris the Writhing Storm. Oh my. And Abun Moldaya Ancestor. This is going to be a landfall deck, so also going to be terrible. I am not sure that I love any of the decks that we're facing. These all beat you in a lot of different ways. We are playing mono white, so, you know, we can't do whatever this is. Whatever's going on over here, those aren't things that we have. But we do draw on some cool stuff right here, things we can actually cast. So we get a Blind Obedience and a Selfless Spirit. Let's play a Plains and play a Blind Obedience, make opponents' lives terrible. And we'll pass like that. Oh, yes. We are playing Mangara the Diplomat, by the way. And today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Natalie. She's been testing this deck a bunch and asking me some questions about it. So figured I would run it on live stream today. Hainware Battlements is cool, and I do love Hainware Battlements, but getting colored mana also pretty good. If you have cards that are like double red in your hand and you have a land-like kind of hand, Flamekin Village does help out quite a bit. Typically, I run both. If you want one, you probably want the other, but Goblin Boom is so bad. This game will probably turn into who's made the most land drops. Usually what happens when you drop an Hour of Rev, assuming it does resolve, there are one blue deck at the table. Excuse me. I really thought I'd be seeing a lot more of this, and I just haven't. It's still a good card and like absolutely worth playing, but maybe it's because green has so many ways to ramp that it's just like not that critical. If you put this in any other color, well, maybe not black. Black has a lot of ways to double up mana, but any of the 3 other colors, then you know, it's probably an auto include, but expected it to. We draw some lands. Lands are helpful. Wish we had a Walking Atlas in this moment, but we do not, sadly. Things we can do. Our commander costs 4. We can draw more cards if we want. Seems kind of fun, right? I am on... Yeah, I think I'm on Mangara. We will draw all the cards. Actually, no. We should probably cast something from hand. Hand size matters. Hand size matters. Maybe just Selfless Spirit, Extort. That way we can protect Mangara next. What up, Daniel? It's a Planeswalker, that's why they die too easily, not worth playing. You know, if flyers, yes. If you have ground creatures, Planeswalkers seem to stick around a little bit more than you expect them to a lot of the time. I get it, they do die easily, and there are plenty of ways to take them out, and they find ways to protect those Planeswalkers. So, you know, yeah, it's not that they stay in play forever, but even a couple turns of this thing, it's probably going to be pretty good. Hey, just out of curiosity, am I saying your last name right if I say Vinyarta? Is that the correct pronunciation? I'm just very curious. But yes, Mana Reflection does indeed last longer when it comes to this type of stuff. Also, you know, it's a little group huggy, but you have Dictate of Karamitra, and there's a bunch of other mana doublers. Nyx Bloom Ancient, that's the one everyone loves now. Putting up to 4 mana right now. Thankfully hasn't ramped at all, so no Xeris yet. But yeah, this thing's been nasty. Played it 3 or 4 times off of Patreon submitted decks. And if it stays in play, you draw all the cards and make all the creatures. And if you're drawing lots of cards and making lots of creatures, a lot of ways to win the game from there. Perforos and Impact Tremors are especially nasty. Sorry, Daniel. I'm gonna have to look that up of how that's said, of how that's pronounced, because I'm not good with all the little things over the letter. That's gonna be an after stream kind of thing. I feel like I was close. Kalani Heart Expedition for opponent. Commander Replay, not sleeping so good during these turbulent times. What up, Eric? Opponent cracks the Conley Heart. Yep, getting that ramp going. So what's my favorite card from Zendikar Rising and why? There's a couple cool ones. Murog, pretty cool. Make your attackers bigger, landfall, more combats? Yes, please. Angel of Destiny, pretty sweet. You know, I haven't even tested a lot of the commanders yet. Zagros, I have a game filmed with that I'm going to post probably next week. And Zagros is pretty cool. The vampire that reanimates stuff looks pretty cool. A lot of cool cards in color there, but yeah, there's some cool stuff in Zendikar Rising. But yeah, man, this thing just ends you so quickly. Oh, man. Opponent activates that Nissa again. Nissa? Is it Nissa? Yeah, it's a Nissa. 2 lands have become creatures, and Z deck. Interesting, but that 3/3 doesn't make mana. That's a Klothys in play, by the way. Klothys, cool little card. I kind of wish I had the chance to play a little bit more with Klothys, but man, so much product coming out this year. It is tough to stay on top of things. I feel like there's entire sets that I haven't looked at. I've barely looked at Jumpstart. No clue what's in that set. People tell me it's cool, though. It's super expensive, so it must be cool, right? This card was worded in a way that you could attack with the creatures. Sadly, it is not. You need haste, and mono white does not have the hastes. What do we got? We're on 4 mana. We can cast our commander. Got to work this Mistveil Plains in at some point. This is a Wheels deck. Well, they don't have their commander yet, so they probably want to wait till they have that. I think it makes the most sense right here. No mana for the Extort. It's expensive because it's getting short printed. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true, but it also means it's got to be cool, right? No. General that. We are going to discard a land to hand size. And we'll pass the turn. Valakut Exploration trigger. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play it as long as it remains exiled. I haven't really had a chance to look at this one yet. This card also looks pretty exciting. Looks like a cheap way to get some additional card advantage in red, and looks cool. I just haven't had the chance to play it. Oh, that's a Gauntlet of Power. Here come the mana doublers. Starting to get itchy with this Hour Revelation. Would love to not give up our Blind Obedience, but, you know, if we're talking about that's card draw, that's card advance, that's mana ramp, that's a doubler, that fine play it, but and we get pinged by this thing. They exile the castle. As cool as these are, I haven't really been in a game where I've needed to use it. Not saying it can't happen, but you definitely need to get like late into the game with a lot of lands. Let's see what opponents got for us. Time Reversal. Well, it's a good thing we played the Mistveil Plains. Timed it just right. Probably going to lose all this glorious, glorious removal. I really liked all the cards in our hand. What do we get? Ooh, Hall of Heliod's Generosity could be helpful. Dawn of Hope. Sweet. A Johnny, Remorseful Cleric. All things, we got some things. The average CMC of our hand has gone down quite a bit. That is somewhat helpful. What's this one do? 15 more life than our starting life total. It's going to be a minute before we get to that. We can make a 2/2 the minus. We can gain life. Maybe we wait on that one. See what opponents got. Make another land creature. That feels like a lot of mana for where we are in the game. There's an austere command. Yep. Creatures and enchantments. Blind Obedience going to go down. No, sorry, artifacts and enchantments. Solemn Simulacrum. We get to draw. Ooh, Suture Priest is a cool card. Solemn Trigger. Opponent's going to get themselves a land. Lands are scary at this moment when they all make double. Would love to get this thing off the board. Like I talked about, Planeswalkers have a habit of sticking around longer than you want them to. Opponent getting a poke with a 3/3? Sure. What's the life gain mode in this one? Creature enters the battlefield. Under our control, we gain a life. That is good to keep in mind. We have this Hall of Heliod's Generosity, so we can get Blind Obedience back at some point. May end up doing that. There's a... Got to start thinking about the Field of Ruin play soon on the Field of the Dead. Remorseful Cleric. Triggers the Suture Priest. Go always yes. Opponent's got enough stuff over here that this is still a good blocker, so I'm going to leave that back. But definitely going to poke into the Nissa. Keep it off the ultimate at the very least. Till we can find a more permanent solution to it. So we poke it down, and we'll pass like that. Even though we are a life gain deck, Morag is one of those commanders that says no life total is safe. If it plus like one or two other cool creatures are in play, you will get melt. One also does not help us. No, basics only. Whenever a mountain, nope. Stomping Ground is going to be making a lot of mana. This Stomping Ground will be making more mana. Ew. Thran Dynamo, we get to draw. Skyclave Apparition is a real Magic card. I've been hearing all the best things about it. I've started. We will probably be using it on sale, so Klothys might be a good target, just because Klothys is really hard to kill. It's not the most like threatening of the gods necessarily, but it just does a lot of nice things and kind of sits there, and eventually it turns into a creature. That creature's a 4/5, so. Then, of course, there's also the Gauntlet of Might. Gauntlet of Might, totally worth shooting as well. 3 visits for opponents, so just getting that ramp going. I was going to say all the ramp, but that was the other Xeris deck that I played the other day that had like 18 ramp spells, which is cool, but there just wasn't a lot to do with 18 ramp spells. They have ramped 5 mana. Do they cast their commander? Oh, nope, double from the mountain still. Xeris coming in. Mangara trigger, we get to draw. Deserted Temple. Cool. Suture Priest ability. Get him. Oh, that's going to be rude to find out how Suture Priest works. Banana asks, am I going to try to do lots of Commander Legends stuff? Yes, I am. I haven't been the best about covering new sets this year. I don't know. It's been just a weird year. I don't need to explain that to you guys. So, yeah, I do want to get some really good coverage for Commander Legends. I don't know that I'll be able to get everything because there's a million cards, but you know, as many of the cool ones as I possibly can, especially in the colors that I. What I want to say to opponent is, why do you keep hitting yourself? Why do you keep hitting yourself? Why do you keep hitting yourself? Josh is excited to see some new commanders. Yeah, I've seen a few of the leaks. I haven't gotten deep into the leaks. Just people have brought me, stuff. I feel pretty good. So opponent goes all the way down to 7 after that windfall. That was an ill-advised windfall. Letting opponent know how I called the game for that particular moment. Sorry, Kev. Yeah, now with that Klothys in play, Klothys is like super deadly when you're at 7 life total. 7 life. Also, they have a million snakes. That's a thing. What do we actually have in our hand? Ooh, we have a Cavalier now. We did get wheeled again. Oh, I didn't get to play the Skyclave thingy. It's in our graveyard. We should be able to get that out somehow. We have an Emeria. Just need more planes. Bombardment. Ping everyone for 2. Kithron down to 5. King Ginger asks, have I ever built mono white angel tribal? I have in somewhere along the way I did. Maybe it was the Lyra deck. The one thing with mono white angels and basically all the non-red versions of angels is you need a lot of them to stay in play to really present like lethal damage to your opponents. And I don't care for that. Having Aurelia or Gisela makes it so much easier to present lethal on an opponent because you need like usually about 2 to 3 of them plus Aurelia or Gisela. You need like 5, 6, 7 angels in play, and it's just a lot, and there's no haste, and it's just like it's big and slow. You feel how big and slow it can be. So, you know, especially against faster decks, it's not going to be the best time. I think it was the first time I played Lyra where I got bounced into Oblivion a million times, and there was just like nothing I could do about it. Now, it's fair to say I wasn't as good of a deck builder. Yeah, it's still mono white. Mono white and big is a tough archetype to make work because it just gets outvalued. The removal. Our Mangara gets shot by opponent's Skyclave Apparition. Can't say I'm happy about that while losing our own Skyclave Apparition, which I wanted to cast. And that's a yes, Arn. Oh boy, bring on the stacks. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. Oh, it's kind of like, who's that angel? Can't think of the name of it now. Opponent can attack over 2. Milk and cheese, 1 coming our way. It's a 4-3. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and take that. Axel says, good morning. Good morning to you. It's actually nighttime where I am, but that's cool too. OG says, use OG Double Force and throw in a couple monsters and a bit of Crystal Generals. I have no idea what we're talking about. Oh, yep, there's that landfall and extra combat. This one's going to hurt. Was that 12 coming our way? E. So this is going to be a removal turn. Thinking like maybe Cavalier, Soul, Swords, something like that. Party's over. Well, Champ is clearly the archenemy. Well, maybe I shouldn't say clearly, but I think there's a strong case for him to be the archenemy right here. So, play a planes, keep working toward a Maria. Let's see. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So exactly enough to go Cavalier, Soul, sit on Swords. So I think that's what we're doing. Except, we should cast the Soul Warden first, like a professional. Soul Warden. Any of these fly? No flyers. We might just be on having to leave up blockers. Let these snakes do the work. Nope, not drawing with Dawn of Hope. We got a full grip at the moment. Other things we need to do this turn. Now play the Cavalier. What are we shooting? There's so many things worth shooting. Suture Priest, Soul Warden. So, Marag, I will probably Swords. I mean, is the Planeswalker? The mana is the problem. Those are lands. Klothys is indestructible. Yeah, I think it's the Planeswalker, although Aura Shards is also super nasty. But we've had I've had a real hard time getting rid of this Planeswalker and that mana. Figure out another way to deal with the Aura Shards. Maybe Kithron will just attack him to death, and that'll be cool. Oop, opponent gets a token. Well, that sucks. Forgot about that. Maybe we should have shot the Aura Shards. Gonna shoot the Gauntlet of Might. Oh, that's cool. That actually works out. Don't need that Marog going off also. Cut down everyone's mana a little bit. We gain some life. Can't pay for the Dawn of Hope. Makes me sad. Get through all these triggers. You know, as much as I want to poke with like 2/1s, just don't think it matters that much, so I'm going to stay put. Think especially with Selfless Spirit. Daniel says, Field of the Dead is why I've started running Ghost Quarter in all my 2 or 1 color decks. Yeah. Typically, I'll run about 3 of them if I can. If I have Strip Mine, based on budget, I'll run Strip Mine, but otherwise I'll go like Tectonic Edge, Ghost Quarter usually. I'm not as big on Field of Ruin, but I'm starting to warm up to it. Like a lot of people put it in their decks, and like it's not my favorite, but it's been fine. So, that. I mean, we gotta shoot. Oh wait, no, the planes wasn't gonna get destroyed. Whoops. Right. It's not Armageddon. It's not Armageddon. Armageddon tired of all these lands. Well, doesn't destroy these. It's interesting. Oh, I guess they are basics. That makes sense. I'm on board now. Mox Opal for opponent. Finishing up the land destruction thought before the Ruination. It's why I talk about Volcanic Offering so much. You know, it's 1 card that hits 4 targets, 2 lands, 2 creatures. It's so good. Torbrand into play. Yep. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough without lands to really do a lot here. Lost some lands that I really wanted, Ameria and Field of Ruin, although it gets rid of the Field of the Dead. Hall of Helios Generosity, Mistveil Plains, also one of those. Don't think there's a Crucible of Worlds in this deck, but we'll see what happens. Rites of Flourishing. That is a way for us to get caught up. Now, I hope that Kithron survives, because I would like to use that Rites of Flourishing. Unfortunately, if they attack anywhere with this, then making more snakes would kill them. Rampant Growth? Sure. Seems pretty good. It's a pretty good rebuild after the Ruination. We, on the other hand, it's going to be pretty terrible. Going to be pretty terrible. Hey, everything into Champion Athune. Yep, kind of thought that was coming. He might want to pull that one back, though. That's just suicidal. Nah, he's pulling some back. Am I running Smothering Tide? Let me check. This is not my deck. This deck list was built by Natalie, a Patreon supporter. Smothering Tithe is indeed in the deck. We have just not run into it. Thanks, Josh. Catch you later. What up, Axel? Axel says the way to make mono white work is to build around Skull Clamp and Nick those. Kind of wish they would like die before the thing. This sucks. How much life can we gain? How many tokens is this? That's probably 23. We got to block some of them. I think this is going to mean no rights of flourishing for us. Oops. Don't want to double block that. So block with everything. You're F6'd. Wow, that sucks. Probably just lost the game on that. Well, that'll probably speed up the inevitable. Yeah, that's bad. We go down to 6. The question I have a considerable amount. We would gain what, 4 back. If both opponents focused us after that, we're probably still dead, but opponent pings us with Clothis. Yeah, this is just about over. Well, that was disappointing. Was so excited to play this deck and then just meat grinder. I would say that this is like, you got aggro, wheels, landfall. Those are all 3 really different things that like require different answers. And yeah. Nykthos is the best ramp in mono white. It's good. It does require stuff. It requires permanents to be in play. It's also just expensive. Like, if you're trying to get them in paper, ooh. They were 25 last I looked. I don't know if they've gone up or down from there, but... And it's like, it's a card that's not the easiest to find, and it's not like it's Cabal Coffers, that like, Cabal Coffers is just, you know, once you hit 4 swamps, you're just going to have 4 swamps, unless someone blows up all the lands on you, which is fairly rare, but... Yeah, I'm not even going to block. Get me out of this game. Didn't like how that went. One of the things I've talked about somewhere is mono white does not have burst mana other than Smothering Tithe, and like we see what the green player did with the Nissa. I can't find, there's Nissa. Like, see how much stuff they have in play and how much power worth of stuff. Like, we've made all of our land drops up to this point, and you know, we had maybe half as much power in play. Our stuff were like 1/1s and 2/2s. They've got 4/4s and, you know, large. And like, even if you played every like Core Cartographer, Solemn Simulacrum, sure, getting an extra land is good, but it's not getting 5 or 6 extra mana a turn good. The wheels, and also the wheels got us too, because like we had a pretty good setup going. We had removal, and we could have blew up all this stuff, and That's a Heliod's Innervation. I guess we survived to the Rites of Flourishing. Like I said, we don't have an answer for, like, this round of tokens. So that's a thing, but... Ugh. 2 lands, play 2 lands. I guess we play a high market. Burgeoning will trigger, of course. Play a Plains. Burgeoning triggers. We have a way. I mean, I guess we just swing back into Kithron. It's wide open to Torbrand, though. Yes. Put a +1 counter on the Cavalier. Gotta be a board wipe. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. Even then, a lot of board wipes in red hit the players also. Opponent draws a card, makes a snake. Yep. Imagine playing Knight of the White Orchid on turn 2, another card, Ups Devotion on turn 3, and then Nykthos on 4. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of things you need to go right for all that to work. Like, you know, that's a 3-card combo just to make some mana. It's not my favorite. Like, I'm not saying don't run it, but it's just, it's 1 card. It's 1 card in your 99 that requires you to have a board state. And, you know, when you compare that to, like, Selvala, which, you know, even by itself makes 2 mana. At its worst, it makes, well, I guess it makes 1 mana, but, you know, it's not hard. It's just so easy to make a Selvala just busted. And the myriad of ways in green to just get, like, 3 extra mana a turn. You have all the dorks that tap for 3. You know, you start playing Sky Shroud Claim and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, you are just behind on mana. In this case, it was a mana doubler that got us. White needs some mana doubling, some sort of burst mana other than Smothering Tithe. Urabrask into play. Hazoret's Monument. Creatures they control have trample. Oh. Everything into Champion of Thune. Well, that's unfortunate because now we're going to die to Kithron. A burgeoning trigger. Oh, I use Nykthos in my Angel deck, and it does work in the Angel deck. But sure, that's all fine. It's also $25 or whatever it costs, which is, like, not really what you want to spend on a card that you don't see all that often. There just needs to be more of it. The problem is that green has, like, a million ways to do it, right? And white has, like, Smothering Tithe is the good one. You can get Nykthos if you have a board state. And, you know, beyond that, you're just like, ugh, then what? Your next best options are not great. Have all been small utility creatures, and that, you know, works good for that type of setting. Inkmoth next is going to get animated. But I think this deck was also ramp light on its own anyway. Gonna start working on this. Flashback over here. Probably dead. 17? 2 blockers? It's gonna be real close. If they die, that means we get an untap. That would... Anyway, let's take a look at this deck. I think this deck was ramp light. There's 3. What's this thing do? Okay, so there's 10 cards right here, but 2 of these are altars. I don't like to count altars as mana ramp because it's inconsistent. Like, it's usually just there's one turn, it requires other stuff. The mana curve on this deck seems to be about average. Yeah, the mana curve in this deck's about average, so needs more mana production. Like, if we had, did the artifacts get blown up in this game? I don't know. If we had like a Thran Dynamo or something like that, or if we could hit some of the more land-based ramp stuff, we definitely would have survived better. But Ruination also got us good. A lot of things went wrong in this game, so like I'm not discounting that at all. But Verge Rangers is usually good in mono white, Daniel says. I've seen some people saying it's not the best. I've only had limited interaction with it. I had a game that I played, it was a 1v1, and I would have won the game if I drew a Plains off the top with Verge Rangers. I did not get a Plains, I got a colorless land. I needed triple white to do whatever I was doing. I did not win that game. So, you know, the value of information, there is some value to that information. But it's not like, it's not Solemn Simulacrum good. It's less good than that, but it's not terrible either. Yeah, Sean won. What did he win with? I didn't even see. Oh, Glenhorn maybe? That sounds about right. Yeah. What a terrible game. That went horrible. So yeah, I would definitely add some ramp to this deck. The removal was good. The wheels got us. We didn't get to really use the removal the way we wanted to, and that was frustrating. Totally missed the thing with Yasarn preventing our creatures from being indestructible. I don't know that it matters that much from that. How's my day? My day was going great until that game. That game definitely just brought me down a little bit. But that's okay. We're going to fire up another one. And it uses a lot of enchantments to produce tokens, which I think is kind of cool. If I could... Alphabet. AD is way before AR. Where is it? Is it up here? Oh god, where's the deck list? I hate this. I hate the way Magic Online does this stuff. Can't find the deck list. One moment, please. What's this thing called? Adriana-Go Wide Aggro? Yeah, that should be in the A's. That should be in the A's. This thing, because I've... Adriana, where are you, Adriana? There it is. Found her, Adriana. Oop, that's not what we want. Submit. Cool. All right, I'm going to fire up Game 2 here in just a second. Get that going. If any Patreon supporters want to join Game 2, please feel free to do so. One to get loaded in. Actually, no, I got to find the deck in order for that to happen. Well, let's try to find it. Not where it's supposed to be because it should be somewhere around there. Who knows? I can't find it. It's a cool deck, though. Take my word for it. hopefully we get to see some cool stuff and not get stomped on. Have I seen the Commander Legends leaks? I've seen a couple. People have shown me basically the Boros ones. Haven't looked at too much other stuff, so I figured I'll just wait. You know, we're so close to spoilers actually starting that, you know, I'm just going to wait for that to happen. So, yeah. It's not the best, but I think I'll stay with it. We'll keep. The land count in this deck is a little bit light, so having lands is important, and Makokoro can potentially solve some issues for us. Can't wait to see my card. Yeah, I'm excited about my spoiler as well. I have an idea about what I want to do to just go as ridiculous as humanly possible with it, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of work to make it happen, though, so hopefully it's worth it. Let's see. Tap lands? Tap land. Lead on a myriad landscape. Buckle up. Sean is probably playing the mirror to our deck. I did some edits to his deck before the game. We were chatting about it. And stream doesn't need to go for 4 hours on a single game, so brought it down a teeny bit, but he's going to have a bunch. Fire Song and Sunspeaker is a deck known for playing red board wipes, so yeah. As I lose my voice right here. No big deal. We draw. Getting a little bit of lag going on now. Good times. And we'll pass like that. You've seen people talk about how crazy the spoiler exposure is? I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Because I've heard the opposite as well. I guess it just depends on who you talk to and all that sort of thing, but it was really cool seeing my name up on the Wizards of the Coast homepage today, announcing who was doing all the spoilers and what day they're coming out on. So that was pretty exciting. Borrow Signet for opponent. Mirror match engaged. 2 lands and a Borrow Signet. Opponent cracks their Crosenberg. Yep, getting their own ramp going. They've got the Soul Ring. Soul Ring, so ridiculous. Awesome. Casual 6 mana on turn 3, no big deal. By the way, this is why Primetime is banned, because it's actually really easy to do this, even more so now. Primetime doesn't come down on turn 6, Primetime comes down on turn 3. We draw a Smothering Tithe. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Smothering Tithe. Play the Makokoro. Get the Smothering Tithe. Things that actually matter. I've been getting a lot of this, but I know the next one I mulligan to is going to have no lands, and that's also terrible. What opponent's got? Stoneforge Mystic. Love it. Let's see what they go get. I guess keeping your Firesong and Sunspeaker alive is very important. And we get the Smothering Tithe trigger. 2 tokens for us. Boros. Probably like one of the best years ever. Been a lot of really cool stuff. Oh, God. Smothering Tithe mirror match. Yep, this is a mirror match through and through. 2 Smothering Tithe treasures, tokens, triggers, whatever you call them. See what Champ's got for us. Probably he's set up to do some things this turn. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. Just need Anointed Procession. It's in the deck. This is a token deck. It is very possible for that to happen. No attacks. I would definitely hit one of us with that thing. That's a True Conviction. Pretty cool card. Opponent's going to get a Smothering Tithe on this one. We draw. Let's play a land. Yeah, play a land. I'm going to crack the Myriad Landscape. I want to get this done now before it really becomes important. So crack the landscape. Yeah, this is probably going to be for mountains. Looks like we need a little red. There's not a ton of red in the deck, but I do think it needs to be mountains. Get 2 mountains. We've got 5 mana left. Not enough for the True Conviction. Could cast Adriana. Yeah, why not? Was thinking about the Makokoro, but might as well get some board presence going. I know Makokoro will trigger their Smothering Tithe as well, but at this point I'm fine with it. We're going to need to look at some gas one way or another, so get our commander. Adriana is in. Adriana with double strike and melee is pretty good life gain. Won't necessarily get through if there's a Stoneforge Mystic in the way, but trample is a thing. So, like, I want white to have burst mana, but Smothering Tithe is a little bit too far. Smothering Tithe is kind of like, if it sticks, you probably win the game, especially if it's early. If you get it like turn 2, you make so much mana early that it's so hard for people to answer it, especially in like non-CEDH. In CEDH, everyone's interaction is really cheap, so it's easier to get rid of it. But yeah, I'd like to see something that's more akin to like maybe Thran Dynamo or something like that in white, where it gives you extra. I think that would be helpful without like going too far and adding more like game breakingness to the stuff that you play. Hammer of Nazan for opponent. Yeah, that's a good one. That's another way to keep your Fire Song and Sunspeaker alive. They use the Stoneforge ability to drop it in, and it's going to get the free equip, so that's pretty cool. We are indeed on Adriana now. So this is a deck by Sean, who's also playing his Adriana. So this is the mirror match. I did make a couple tweaks to his deck before the game. We were talking about it, and brought down the board wipe count a little bit, but he's still probably got a ton of them in the deck, so that's a little bit scary. This Teferi's Protection will be like the key to life in this game. But yeah, this list is really cool. Hopefully we find some of the non-land stuff really soon. Get down to our token production. Burgeoning, but only if opponent has more lands than you. Maybe. I would have to see that in action. Felidar Retreat coming in for opponent. Yeah, so that's one of the key pieces in this deck. Landfall, make a token, or pump them up. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And he landfalls. Makes it 2-2. Hopefully we can do the same thing. The other way you could go about it is if you wanted to stay on that burgeoning line of thought, you could go like a fairly costed burgeoning. Maybe you go like 3 mana or something like that, so it's not coming down turn 1 necessarily. Maybe 2. 3 could be a little slow, but it depends on like how strong or not strong you want to make it. Thran Dynamo for opponent, getting their ramp going. That's one of the things too. So I applied for a design job at Wizards of the Coast this past week, and that has had me thinking a lot about like what makes good design. How do you build the next great commander set? And these are all things I've been thinking about. And the question of power level is really tricky because it's like they game in 3 turns, right? And how far is like not far enough when it comes to like power of cards? Because you print a new card, you want to make it strong enough that it's probably going to replace something. By the fact of replacing something, that means that people want it and it's exciting and new and fun and good and all that stuff. If you don't make them good enough, then like, if it's even power level with something else, then it might be like, well, I can try this instead, but maybe it doesn't do more than the old thing. So I don't know. It's like a really tricky question. Kinnan wins the game, and again, 3 turns. You're like, power level is irrelevant. It can be as strong as you want it to be. Can you print a 1 mana burgeoning in white? Well, Winota's a card. Kinnan's a card. Does it matter that much? I don't know. What do we got? Teamer Sabretooth. That combos with like everything. Yeah. Another land for us. Yep, that's not what I was hoping for. So now we need to find cards that matter. Hopefully Makokoro. Citywide Bust, huh? Destroy all creatures toughness 4 or greater. Misses that one. Misses that. No, it does get that one. Doesn't hit that. Doesn't hit that. So right now that is only 1 creature. Does kill our commander. That's not ideal. So far not doing good with the drawing gas. What are we doing right here? Play Clifftop Retreat, I guess. Might as well get True Conviction. Lifelink and Melee. Send it into Kithron. Definitely not getting into the Nissa at all, so why bother? Auto the Melee. Last Resort says, good design is powerful enough to be on curve, but not good at all turns. Because it's tricky too, because it's like green produces tons of mana, so mana cost is almost irrelevant. Colors matters quite a bit. In green, it's mana up when it comes into play, where it's just good design though is like designing cards for archetypes that exist. Sometimes you see cards in a set, and I get it, they do make cards to like so I get that, but it's also cool blink creatures, so it goes in a and just kind of like Atraxa, you build another +1/+1 counters card. Of course every Atraxa player on the planet is gonna want it, and I think that's an interesting way to go about design as well. Soul Herder, yeah, great example. Like, you don't use Soul Herder everywhere, but you use it somewhere, right? And that being to understand the game. And also, like, Magic content creators, Magic community, we all complain about a lot of stuff, but Sean gets an Outlaw's Merriment. So yeah, this is what the deck is trying to do. We're trying to get enchantments like this. He's doing a much better job of it than we are at the moment. Faladar Retreat and Outlaw's Merriment in play for him. Gonna make another 2/2 with the landfall. A good Abzan +1/+1 counters commander would be Spores. That's just like a great thing for commander because it scales really well, but it's not usually overpowering. Like, You know, the stuff gets big, but usually it's on a creature, so creatures can be destroyed. You know, I just like the way that +1/+1 counters feel. That's a Sunforger. This is going to be rough. Doesn't have enough to equip it right to not let this be active. I might try to draw our way into some removal. Hopefully Champ's got removal. He's down to 3 cards, though. This game is shaping up to be very battle cruisery. We could citywide bust, and that would blow up his commander, which the Sunforger is on. That's something. Small poke over to... No, did he change his mind? I think he changed his mind. See what Champ's got. Is going to crack a Croson Verge. The removal. Yeah, I think the threats have gone so far in the past like 2 years that you got to swing the pendulum back the other way a little bit. And now I think the removal needs to get a little bit better to catch back up, because yeah, games can be so fast and swingy now. Even when you bring a good deck, sometimes you just don't draw what you need to stop someone from winning in 6 or 7 turns. And that 6, 7, 8 years ago, the number of things that would kill you were there were less of them, especially ones that could kill you efficiently. This deck, they basically had one big turn where they, you know, if they still had their the other one, Goblin Bombardment in play. Goblin Bombardment with 20 tokens is a ridiculous thing to hold over people's heads. So, yeah, I think the removal does need... aren't running as many board wipes as they used to because they're running more spot removal. So, you know, if you pump removal too much, if the removal gets too good, then like aggro kind of falls out of favor again. And I think we go back to like, and maybe it's because I played a lot of Magic Online, but when you play Magic Online like 5 years ago, every single game either. So, and having some more answers for that, I think would be good. As far as threats getting worse, though, the problem with making worse threats is that no one will play them. You know, sure, if there's like a wacky commander, people will try it, but people tend to gravitate towards things that are powerful or at least effective at what they do. Quite often, they are the most powerful commanders, with the exception of a few recent ones, which are like, who's the birthing pod on a stick? The Prime Speaker, Banifar. You know, that's one that I haven't seen has been hugely popular. It still sees play, but it's not insanely popular like some other things. Oh my god, I can't talk. This dismantling wave looks kind of huge. I meant to do that and I got talking. Whoops. Crap. With Adriana. Trying to get him to use the Sunforger. Check in on chat real quick here. Maybe just swords on the Adriana. What's he going for? Unbreakable formation. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Perfect. Got him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. With everything. That's exciting. Adriana, back to the command zone. We go up to 60 life. I don't love having to burn the Teferi's, so I'm going to play the planes. I'm going to cycle Dismantling Wave. And then we're going to Teferi's Protect to save our good stuff. Mana neutral, but because there's open mana, they might play around that. So, yep, back to this. Back to this. Just wanted to make sure if we can get any extra card draws somewhere that we take advantage of doing. Cycle Dismantling Wave, and then Teferi's Protect. And we peace out. Dismantling Wave. Darksteel Plate, yep. Cool. We'll get rid of a bunch of other stuff, though. He said Teferi's was in hand. Couldn't Sunforger right there. Couldn't Sunforger. Into Amaria Shepherd. So the second our stuff gets blown up, we can potentially get it back with landfall triggers. Love that. But we cleaned out some stuff that really needed cleaning out, namely Treat. That was a very good Dismantling Wave. Land tax for opponent. That's fine. They can have lands. It's the treasure tokens and the triggers that get kind of crazy. Back to our removal conversation. Yeah, I do agree. Oko is too far. Takes over the game. It's a pretty bad time. Truth and Justice for opponent. Yep. Justice. Sure. They can just block. That'll be no big deal. Nissa, but I'm sure that's going to get blocked by something. Becomes a 4/4. Oh, right now that's pro white, so that's not going to be blockable by. I added this to the deck, by the way. I decided to go with Burnish Heart and Amaria Shepherd. There's already a landfall theme in the deck, so Burnish Heart and Amaria Shepherd really good for doing that. Also good for getting your enchantments. One's going to make a plant. Yep. Lotus Cobra triggers. Yeah, Lotus Cobra's pretty good. Makes a lot of mana. It's not like the best. Get your... I wish there was a way to tutor for this card in white, and there really isn't. That's any kind of playable. Thalia's Lancers doesn't get it. The Recruiter does not get it, so I'd like to see, even something narrow like if we don't deal with this thing soon, it's probably going to be an issue. Opponent taps up a lot of mana. How'd they get so much mana? Turn 7? How many lands they have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have 10 lands. Turn 7 plus a Lotus. Oh, cool. Finale of Devastation. So Crater Hoof and kill 2 players? Avenger of Zendikar, right? Can't forget that. If they landfall, if you can pump these up big enough, we can citywide. We're at 60, so we have a little bit of time, but in general, this will be bad. I need other players to stay alive for the Smothering Tithe treasures. Shocked people don't grab Zakama more. Zakama is really good. Zakama is one of those cards that's like too far. Too far. It does too much. Double up your mana. What was it? Gain life, shoot artifacts, shoot creatures, and shoot artifacts and enchantments. All pretty good. Is Zakama a cast? Yeah, if you search for it, does it untap your lands? I don't remember. Sean goes Avenger of Zendikar, which would stop the plants from getting pumped up, which will I guess they can pump it up with this. Ooh. Yeah, that's the thing still. None of this is great. Let's try the Makokoro. There's an Earthquake. Perfect. Just the card we were looking for. That's going to be 7. Just in time. Hopefully no. So, cleaned out a lot of nonsense there. Avenger down, Lotus down. I disagree that Zakama doesn't win you the game. Zakama pretty much wins you the game if it sticks around. It just does. We get a treasure. They're going to want to poke that Nissa. Brash Taunter. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like this one because you don't have to choose it on ETB. You choose it whenever the damage happens. So you can just, choose whatever you want, when you want. And that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Should keep it off the ultimate this turn, hopefully. Smothering Tithe. Trigger. Zakama is not an instant win, but we'll get there, which feels fair for 9 mana. The problem is that it's easily abusable, and in green, 9 mana doesn't matter. I've cast a turn 2 Zakama before. It's just so quick to get there that, decks that play it as their commander turn 4, turn 5, it's not terribly difficult to get it. And I think that's like 50 cards off the top of their library in like 6 turns in a green deck. It's because mana's not really an issue for them anymore. They have so many mana producers that it's just irrelevant. So mana cost isn't a thing that is a deterrent. And sure, that's just, that's my opinion on it, but Zakama, right on time. We've been talking about it the whole time. So we're going to find out just how strong Zakama is, I think. We will probably lose these 2 things. We can get some of it back with Amaria Shepherd, but we're going to have to citywide bust for sure. Here comes a Rishkar. Yep. I mean, essentially, he just casted a game-ending creature for free. Yep, gonna shoot our Smothering Tithe, of course. The moment, only gonna hit Zakama, but only hitting Zakama is good enough. Brings it back to our turn. There's the Wanderer. We could go about it that way. How much mana do we have? We have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 12 when we play that, so that'll be 3, that'll be 10. spiteful. Not even sure why, really. Goes the plains. Down goes Zakama. That's a big one. Get our Ameria Shepherd. Play Windbrisk Heights. That'll get a hideaway, and we'll get the landfall. We'll get Smothering Tithe back to our hand. Cathar's Crusade, also good, but no tokens. Guess we're on the Aetherflux Reservoir plan. Return the Smothering Tithe. Pass the turn. See what Kithron's got. He hasn't really had a great opportunity to do a ton here. We still need to like draw into our token makers. That hasn't gone well for us up to this point. Guilty Conscience. Awesome. Yep, gonna fight our Ameria Shepherd. This isn't Stuffy Doll per se. When it deals damage, deals that much to the creature. When this takes damage, that much to opponent. It's not worth watching all these triggers resolve, so we'll scoop it right there. Yep, and he gets started over there. That'd be the game. Man, got blown out tonight pretty good. Nothing seemed to cooperate. The first game, we got our lands blown up, wheeled multiple times, and then, just green stuff. In this game, I still can't find this deck. I have no idea where this deck list went. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching, streaming every Friday. So be sure to tune in next Friday afternoon, and I'll have some more decks, gameplay videos Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. So have a good night, everyone.